Hey there, South Bend. You're listening to WLA Radio, 92.5 on the FM band. And if you're just tuning in, this is your morning mashup. I am, as always, your host, the Reverend Will the Thrill, preaching a gospel of peace, love, and the greatest variety of music on the air. You just heard the late, great Albert King with Crosscut Saw. Before that, we played Dance Like a Monkey by the New York Dolls. An amazing deep cut from Elton John with Where To Now, St. Peter. That one off the request line for Jake. And Ella Fitzgerald with A Night in Tunisia. On deck we've got some Emmylou Harris, Gene Vincent and his Blue Caps, and the Mr. T Experience with their classic Even Hitler Had a Girlfriend. If there's something you'd like to hear, no matter how out there it might be, please, by all means, give us a call at 1-800-448-4373, and we'll see what we can play for you. That number again, 1-800-448-4373. This hour of Music and Me is brought to you, as always, by our dear friends at Becky's House of Spaghetti and Pancakes, located on Kircher Road, just across from the NIPSCO plant. With delivery, takeout, and catering services, they've been providing you with all of your comfort food needs now for over a tenth of a century, with everything from homemade French toast to macaroni and cheese, just like Grandma used to make. Feel free to give them a call at 574-472-6362 to help plan your special event, or if you just want to pick up some dinner on the way home from work. I don't like talking about this sort of thing on the air just because I find it kind of depressing, but I feel it necessary to bring it up. I do think it's sad, although not entirely surprising, that in 2015 we still can't treat other human beings with some modicum of respect, even if they may be different from us. I've observed that we as human beings like being exclusive. We like keeping people out of our little clubs and our organizations because they don't think or look or act the way we do. Over the years, liberal activism has told us that we have to be more inclusive. We had to actually allow blacks the right to vote. Then it was women. Then we had to actually allow blacks to be equal to whites. Then the religious issue came in. We can't keep people out because of their religious heritage now, even if they're Muslim. I know, scary. So, you know, who else can we keep out? What other group of people is still struggling for equality in this day and age? Let's face it, folks, homophobia is quite possibly the last legal form of discrimination we've got. And what with the Supreme Court's recent ruling on same-sex marriage this past summer, even that's getting harder and harder to do. And if we get rid of that, then we have to treat everyone equally. What a burden that must be. And homophobia is tricky, too, because you can't just spot a gay person by the color of his or her skin. You actually have to get to know the person first. Then you can decide whether or not to exclude them. So we make up some crap about a homosexual agenda to scare people into believing that we should continue to treat other people differently. For years, we kept them from marrying each other or serving in the military. We cite Bible passages about homosexuality as a sin, even though the Bible says it's also a sin to eat bacon and shellfish, and no one's rushing to outlaw those things. People like the late Jerry Falwell and that hate group out in Kansas blame our country's problems on gays and our more and more permissive attitudes toward homosexuality and claim that God hates fags and spew all kinds of hate-filled rhetoric in the names of God and Jesus. I don't get it myself. I've known lots of gay people over the years. Some of my closest friends are gay. Nobody has ever pushed any kind of an agenda on me. No one has ever tried to turn me gay. And if any of my gay friends want to get married, it doesn't in any way affect me or my life as a straight man. If I were to someday marry a woman, our union would not be impacted in the slightest by gay people getting married. Here's the thought. If homosexuality offends you, don't engage in homosexual behavior. That's all you have to do. No demonstrations, beatings, murders, any kind of intimidation that, you know, straight folks are known for. The truth is that their lifestyle doesn't affect you one bit unless you let it. The only thing I've ever seen on the so-called homosexual agenda is the request to be treated equally under the law. And I realize that just my saying this here on my little rinky-dink radio program isn't going to change the way a lot of you feel. The discrimination will likely continue, maybe even from some of you. But that's exactly what it is. Discrimination and nothing more. And no amount of Bible thumping is going to change that. And in spite of the Supreme Court's ruling on same-sex marriage, there's this bigoted shrew down in Kentucky who won't issue marriage licenses to gay couples because she's observing God's law. And frankly, I would be fine if we lived in a theocracy, but we don't. Lady, I hate to break this to you, but not everyone's religious beliefs are the same as yours or mine. That's the beauty of this country. I don't care what you practice. I don't care what you preach. I don't care if you're a bigoted, small-minded homophobe. But if you work in a government office, even a local one, you have to respect the civil rights of others, even if you don't agree with them. And if you don't like that, go work for Hobby Lobby or Chick-fil-A. And stop talking about how God will judge them later, because clearly you've already handed out enough of your own judgment for everyone, maybe even God. But unlike so many of your ilk, I won't attempt to definitively speak for the Almighty. So on that note, let's get back to some tunes. The great Chris Christopherson said what I've been trying to say here better than I probably did, and certainly nicer than I did. So please enjoy his 1972 recording of Jesus Was a Capricorn, Ode to John Prine, on WLA Radio 92.5.